Hey guys, my name's Hayley and I've done a lot of traveling over the past 10 years. I thought I'd put together a quick video with some tips on how to make your traveling just that little bit easier. The first thing I'm going to talk to you about is organisation, which to me is probably the most important thing. I always like to travel with Ziploc bags. I had the unfortunate experience of my passport being destroyed once from a water damage, so I've learnt my lesson and now always keep my passport in one of these. They're also really good for keeping snacks in or using as a toiletries bag as well, so definitely worth bringing along. Keeping with the theme of organisation, I always like to travel with these sort of bags. They're little zip-up bags and they come in a variety of different sizes, and they're great for things like undies, socks, t-shirts, and they just really help to keep your luggage organised. I also bring these. They're great for shoes, wet washing, dirty washing, and it really stops your luggage from smelling like dirty socks. If you don't want to spend the money on these, a plastic bag will also do the trick. I always like to bring my own toiletries with me when I travel. You can pick up these little bottles at most discount stores or your chemist, and they're really good because you can put your own products in them and you can get them on the aircrafts. They do tend to have their own restrictions on how much you can bring, so these are all allowable by most airlines. I always like to bring them with me on the airplane because that way if your bags get delayed or you have connection issues, you've always got toiletries with you. When I'm traveling around, I always like to bring some adapters with me because obviously I'll need to charge my phone, my camera. You can get one that does just one country, or you can get these ones now which have multiple countries built into them, and some of the newer ones also have USB slots. So they're really handy. I like bringing a power bank as well. This way, if you don't have access to a power point while you're traveling or you're on a bus or a plane, you can still charge your phone and things. So they're really handy. If you are going somewhere a little bit remote that's run off a generator, a power board is going to be your best friend. This allows you to charge multiple devices in using the one socket. When I'm traveling, I always make sure these 3 items are in my bag. I always have hand sanitizer, some facial or body wipes, as well as some antibacterial wipes. This way, wherever you are, if you can't have a shower, you can at least clean yourself down, and you're always able to make sure things are clean and sanitary. After a long flight, the last thing you want to do is spend 30-40 minutes looking for your suitcase. Most people's bags are black, so for this reason, it's really helpful to put a strap around your luggage. You can get these at most discount stores, travel stores, and they're just a really easy way to make your luggage stand out. If you don't want to pay for one of those, ribbon tied around your suitcase on the handle or just around the suitcase in general will also do the trick. I also like to use one of these guys. It's a little luggage weigher, and this way you can make sure your bag isn't over the weight restriction before your flight. There's nothing worse than rocking up to the airport for a flight to be told that your bag weighs too much. So this doesn't take up too much space, and I would definitely recommend bringing one of these along. When you're traveling, noise-cancelling headphones like this will be your best friend. There's nothing worse than being on a 24-hour flight and you've got screaming children. This allows you to catch up on some of your favourite TV shows without being interrupted. I also like to travel with an eye mask. I did have a really awesome one with a pug on it, but I lent it to someone and didn't get it back, so now I have to deal with this one for the time being, but these are also really handy. That way you can get some sleep wherever you are. This one might seem like a no-brainer, but making sure you have the right apps on your phone and that they're up to date is really helpful when you're traveling. I always like to have things like Facebook, WhatsApp, Skype installed on my phone, as they're all really great ways of keeping in contact with people at home. You might also want to have your Instagram account activated and up to date, and apps like Xe for currency conversions. That way you know you're not going to get ripped off at the markets. As well as Uber, it's a really good way to organise transport, and it works across the world. Now you might think what I've got in front of me is a little bit crazy, but they do have a purpose, I promise. If you're not going somewhere remote, you may or may not need all these items, but it is really handy being able to wash your clothes while you're traveling. So if you need to do an emergency undies or socks wash, you can make yourself your own clothesline with some string and hang up your clothes with pegs. I again keep the pegs in my Ziploc bag, as I love these. A pocket knife's always good because you never know when you're going to need to open a bottle of wine or need a screwdriver. Just keep them in your checked in luggage because they do not like these on the aircraft. And torches are also something that I like to travel with. Depending on how much space I have in my bag determines which size I bring, but they're really handy. And if you are coming on one of our remote elephant programs or our island program, these are really great to use in the night when the electricity is down so that you can find your way to the bathroom. When you're traveling around a lot, having some forms of entertainment is really important. I always like to have some books downloaded on my phone as well as music that I like listening to or podcasts. And I also like to bring a speaker with me. That way, if I'm sitting in a group setting, I can play some music, sit around and play a game of cards. So for this reason, I also bring cards with me. And then things like frisbees and travel balls, hacky sacks are also some fun things you can bring that won't take up too much room in your bag. Well, that's it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video and found my tips useful. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe to our channel. We'll be putting up some more awesome content shortly. Stay tuned.